Morning, 7:45, and it's Friday, and that means Mike Kanin with the Austin Monitors here to talk about all the goings on at Austin City Hall. Definitely a lot happened yesterday during the meeting. I think the big one that went into kind of the late night hours dealt with property taxes and the homestead exemption. So how did that all play out?
So it was a very interesting discussion, has been for a number of weeks now, how they're going to assess this homestead exemption, what they're going to do with the tool that they have. They ultimately elected to go with a 6% allowable homestead tax exemption, which is significantly less than the 20% allowed by Travis County and I believe AISD too. But the interesting thing here is that some critics of the tax exemption argue that the way that the the exemption works, it puts pressure on renters and other folks, and some folks who homeowners who don't necessarily make all that much money. It's not the best tool, I think these critics would say, to impact the affordability, what I think some would say crisis in the city. Of course, the mayor disagrees. He believes that it's a tool that they should use that phrase tool a number of times during the discussion. So ultimately 6% this year. They're working their way to a full 20% over a 4-year period. Percentages over the next 3 years are unclear. Bottom line is, if you're an average homeowner, you're not really going to save that much annually. But I think as some might argue, and I think as Councilmember Houston did last night, every little bit helps. Every
little bit does help. Yeah, I think I read the average was around $50 a year, which
something like that.
Isn't a ton. Okay, so what does this tax cut then mean for other city services? Because if they're cutting taxes here, they always have to cut other places.
And that's an open question. Both the mayor and Councilmember Troxclair, who was pushing hard for a full 20% off the bat, so this year, were arguing that they could do this without cutting city services. We'll see if that happens. We'll see. We'll see what the budget comes back at. What the what programs are if there are any programs on the chopping block. The mayor says that he can that he believes that they can mitigate the tax impact by raising property taxes. So the theory there, I guess, would be that if you're that it would sort of balance out in the end.
Sure.
We'll see. Again, as with a lot of things with this council, this is the first time that Austin's dealt with this kind of thing, so we're not quite sure. I don't think anybody's quite sure what the reality is going to look like.
All right, flooding's still fresh in the minds of everybody, but they were looking to buy out some homes dealing with flooding from a while ago.
Yeah, in the wake of the October 13 floods, these are not Onion Creek homes, but Williamson Creek homes, and the buyouts have been authorized by the previous council. This council did agree to do most of the buyouts, but they left out a handful of homes. I think Real Estate Services was saying between 8 and 10 that had been purchased in the last 2 years. So folks who bought their homes after the floods, our council is saying that these folks probably should have known that they were in a floodplain and that they therefore shouldn't be eligible for the buyout. They also were suggested that council wants Real Estate Services to prove that these folks actually, the folks they're buying out actually had flood
that there actually
issues.
was a problem. All right, Mike Kanin with the Austin Monitor. We certainly always appreciate your insight every Friday concerning what happens.